All right. So week 14, right? So we're going to look today at uh, inheritance. Okay. So we're going to have a super class that we're going to create. And then we'll have a child class. And then we'll have our regular class uh, to work with. My proposal is this. So we're going to have this, and it'll be due next Tuesday, like always. But that's break, right? It's Thanksgiving break. So if you want to get it done before then, surely, like always, you can do that. You can do it whenever you want. Um, but we won't have anything next week. Okay, I'm not going to make any new assignments. So then we'll come back on the 1st of December is our next class date after this week, after Thursday. And we'll have one or two more, I haven't decided yet for sure, one or two more programs. One of the programs will probably be worth 30 points or something. And, it'll be like the show me what you got, program. Uh, you've been through 16 weeks of this now. Show me that you know how to write programs that won't crash when I type the number 2 in, or a letter A for the number 2. And that continues to be a problem, and it shouldn't be for you guys. Anytime you're not putting in a string, you guys should be checking to make sure whatever they're putting in is going to meet the criteria of what, especially the data type. Sometimes you might not remember to, if the number's supposed to be between 0 and 100 or something, that's a whole nother issue that you should be catching. But not as critical, because that won't crash your program usually. If you put in an integer, it doesn't know the range unless you restrict the range yourself. It doesn't care as long as it's still an integer. But if it's supposed to be an integer and you type in the letter A, it's going to crash. And that's not good, especially when these programs would become executable finally by a user. So just keep that in mind as we go into the last. And that lesson 15 will be the last lesson because that'll run you through the 8th of December. And I'm not going to try and cram anything else in there. But what we'll do for the last few days there is I'll give you like the 4 days or whatever for the rest of the week to turn in anything you think is missing, or redos, anything that you can glam some points for, as we end up the semester. And you should be on your way to, I don't know how many of you registered for 235 yet. I would do that if I was you. And, if you're going to, if you got through this, you'll get through that. Dr. Alashimi is very good at what he does. And you'll get more abstract. I mean, as far as the kind of objects you can create and data structures that are abstract that you will create. But so that's the next part of this whole thing. Same book. You won't have to buy a new book. Use the same book we use this semester. And just be going farther and farther into it. Any questions about that, or where I'm planning on heading you?
Okay. No, it sounds like you.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
If you look here, if you look at how many people are here, we've weeded out a few, say the least. And I hope that it's mostly a time issue, and that they didn't do their, commit their time, and that I think for the most part, as far as online learning goes, that I've tried to provide you with a pretty good format with the recordings and the amount of office hours I provide and things like that. So I'm hoping the people that are sticking it out here are really interested in, if not becoming a programmer, at least having a good background in programming for their other jobs or whatever they plan on doing in the future. Okay, let's take a look here. I'm going to share my screen with you. And we'll take a look here on, now see, I thought I left that open this morning. Okay, 1771, lesson 14. All right, so the top up here is, this guy talks a little bit about classes, okay? And so take a look at this. It's done in Eclipse, which isn't a problem. I mean, it's just another IDE, integrated development environment. And for Java, the integrated development environments can be anything from, well, it wouldn't really be you can turn, I mean, you can write Java in any text editor, anything that's plain text. If you haven't noticed, your code's in plain text. If you go under source in the NetBeans file, you'll see it. It's just a plain text file. I mean, it has a Java extension .java, but it's just plain text. So you can write it in anything. Eclipse is an IDE. Difference between a plain text editor and an IDE is you see your mistakes, okay? It tries to help you with your typos for the most part, okay? Whereas if you type it in Notepad or something, then it's not normally going to show you, oh, you didn't type a semicolon at the end of this this line, you know, of code. But other than that, pretty much. This is kind of how we work. This is what we plan to do, and this is what it ends up looking like. I thought this was pretty cute. Hopefully you're more on this side. If you do your planning and that in the future, you should be more like this. He's creating like different objects for different. This is a good kind of example here. He created humans and he created pets out of animals. Okay, so this would be the super class up here. And in his super class, he has two attributes that they have brains and they have legs. Okay, then you come down here. So you got humans down here. They got two legs. And then he could add more things about it down here. And then same thing here. Oh, when he goes to pets, he adds another attribute called fleas. Okay, that wasn't in the super. So this is a new attribute that's added. But both of these understand that the human and the OPET could use brain also down in here. Then you go down farther and he creates from that parent object, he creates. So here you got the super class. Then you got a parent down here, which is a subclass of these, child class of the super. And then under this one over here on this side, you have instantiated two other objects that are the child process or child objects of pet. Okay, so that's that's inheritance. Okay, and again, hopefully it doesn't end up looking like this over here. All right, this is my Play-Doh, my attempt at bringing some, I don't know what you want to call it, philosophy to object-oriented programming. And I've used this example for years, and it's based out of Plato's Allegory of the Cave, which is book 7 of the Republic, where Plato describes society. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to look at it for just a minute. We won't go through the whole thing, but I'll let it play here for a minute. No, I'm not. What happened there? What did that do? There. I need to get you guys sound here.